What's up? Welcome back to our channel.
What's up, guys?
I'm Erica.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're the Imperados, and this is Living Proof. So before we get started, make sure that you show love in the comments, hit that like button, and most definitely hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on future videos like this one.
Alright guys, on today's video we're going to be doing 10 ways to have a sustainable relationship. Me and Erica are not marriage counselors or experts in any way, but we've been together for quite some time now, about 7 years, and we'd like to share with you some experiences that we've had that really have helped us throughout the years.
We hope that you guys really enjoy these tips, and we hope that they help you with your relationship. By no means, like Brandon said, are we experts, but we just found that these are some tips that have helped us along the way, and we know that it's helped some of our friends. So let's kick it off.
That being said, let's dive in. This is actually our number one.
Yes.
We keep God at the center of our relationship. I feel like that is one thing that from the beginning, even when me and Erica started dating back in high school, that we established early on, that we actually both had a love for Christ and we both wanted to keep God at the center of our relationship.
A key thing to remember, guys, when you are thinking about your relationship, and like Brandon said, the number one aspect for us is keeping God at the center of our relationship. And the way that we look at it, actually, our pastor from a couple years back had actually put it so eloquently, and he basically had described marriage as, or a relationship as a triangle, and God is at the top, and then you and your significant other are on either side of the triangle, and you guys have to make sure that you have your own relationship with Christ before anything else. And if both of you guys are pursuing God in your own right, well then it's only natural that you guys are going to come together and pursue the Lord. So that is our number one way to have a successful relationship. It's worked for us, it's worked for those before us, and it'll continue to work for years and years and years. We genuinely believe that putting God at the center of your relationship is what will sustain your relationship in the long run, and it will help you get through those difficult times.
So another thing about keeping God at the center that's helped me significantly, it's probably helped Erica significantly, is seeing your spouse how God sees them. This is something that really changed my view on Erica just as a spouse. It really makes me see her as more of God's daughter first and then my wife, and it's really helped me a lot of just being more attracted to her, wanting to spend more time with her, talk to her more deeply, and listening to her. If you look at how God sees them, then God sees them as like the number one thing. This is his person, and I think that's so important.
So another thing that we think is top ways in order to have a sustainable relationship and or marriage is making sure that you are open, honest, and loyal. First of all,
listen up, guys.
You need to be an open book. If you have secrets, let them out. What better person to open up to than your significant other, than your spouse? So you need to trust them just as much as you would anyone else with your deepest, darkest secret. If anything, you need to trust them more than anybody. So, you know, you need to be as open as an open book. And when I say you need to be honest, always tell the truth. The truth is always going to come to the light. Whatever is done in the dark is always going to come to the light. So you need to make sure that you're honest not only with yourself and what you want for the relationship and what you see fit, but you need to be honest with that other person and make sure that you guys are both on the same accord and on the same page. Another thing is loyalty. I need to know that you're in this for the long run. I need to know that you got my back no matter what. If we rob a bank, we're going down together.
Yeah, yeah.
If you throw...
Sorry.
He's not loyal. He's not loyal. So, you need to be really loyal, okay? This is so... I think that this is so important because in
loyalty and trust in general.
Yeah, because
so
in 2020, like with social media and with the fast pace of the world, everybody's on to the next best thing, and we want to keep, you know, swiping and liking and whatever, and that can get you caught up, okay? Like, you need to be loyal. You need to know that, okay, my significant other, or I'm in a relationship with this one person, and that's the only person that I want to be with. And if it's not, well, then you need to stop playing with that other person's heart, and you need to get out of the relationship, okay? And maybe you need to be single for a while and work through that before you can go ahead and be in a committed relationship, right?
I agree, and you shouldn't have to worry about your significant other. That is, and with so much going on in the world, like Erica said, the one thing you shouldn't be worrying about is trusting your significant other, or having to follow them, or having to look on their phone. When it comes to trust and loyalty in relationships, I talk to some of my guy friends, is actually sharing passcodes with their significant other in their phones. I always tell them that me and Erica have the same exact passcode on our phone. We've had it for I don't even know. I think the beginning of our relationship, we had the same four numbers.
But I do want to point in, it wasn't like, oh, me saying like, oh, I need your passcode, or it wasn't him saying, oh, I need your passcode to your phone. It was more so like, hey, we both trust each other enough that we are comfortable with giving each other the same passcode. And it was never about like, oh, I don't trust you, you don't trust me. It was more so just like, hey, I want to be an open book. I want to be open and honest. And again, I trusted him enough to know that I didn't have to look through his phone. I really didn't even need to have the same password as him, but it was convenient. And likewise for me, he knew that he didn't have to look through my phone, you know, when I was sleeping or something like that to make sure that nothing was going on, because we both were super open with each other, honest and loyal.
All right, guys, so the next one that we're gonna hit on for the 10 ways to have a sustainable relationship is communication.
Yes.
Communication is one of those things that's always talked about in relationships, but I feel like no one really prepares you for the marriage level of communication. Communication is more than just texting your significant other, like calling them. It's actually being able to get your point across to your significant other, learning how to argue properly, learning how to speak to each other, all those things.
Learning how to argue properly. Just saying. We need to work through some things in our marriage.
But for real though, learning how to communicate with each other is very important, because arguments and all those things can go very bad very quickly.
When you communicate with your significant other, you need to still remember that you're laying your head on the pillow at night with them, and do you really want to hit below the belt and be disrespectful to them? It's not fair on any side. So when there's something, and this is so true with even any relationship, my friendship, my sisters, my parents, anything, any type of relationship. There's arguing with a purpose and there's fighting. There's a big difference between the two. When you argue with a purpose, you are having an open dialogue with that person. You're letting them know, hey, you hurt me in this way, and they're letting you know the way in which you hurt them. And you guys are both coming together in a mature way. You're not hitting below the belt. You're not name calling. You're not throwing your phone at them. You're not slamming the doors and walking out. And you know, that is the biggest thing, is treat your significant other when you do argue with them, because not every relationship is going to be peachy rosy. And if yours is,
hit me up.
Yeah,
I want some tips.
Something's
you should make a YouTube channel.
Yeah, you should make a YouTube channel then. But you are gonna come across those crossroads, and you're gonna definitely argue. And like I said, there's arguing with a purpose, and then there's fighting. And when you're fighting, you are hitting below the belt, you're name calling, you are bringing shame to that person, you're pointing the finger at them, and you don't realize that fingers are being pointed right back at you. So like Brendan said, respect your significant other, especially when you're communicating with them, and especially when you are, you know, going through difficult times and may have an argument. It's all about respect.
Yeah, it's all about respect. And again, if you go back to that, looking at your spouse, how God sees them, a lot of that ties into that, and how you talk to them, even in arguments or just regular communication.
Yeah. The next thing on our list in the 10 ways that you will have a sustainable relationship is listening. You need to listen effectively to your significant other, okay?
Yeah.
Do not be on your phone texting. Do not be off in another room trying to hear what they're saying across the house. You need to give your significant other and the undivided attention that they deserve. You never want them to feel like they're a second priority to you. You always want to make them feel like they're the first priority to you, and the way in which you do that is by listening to them.
Yeah.
And look at them, make eye contact, look at them in their eyes when they're talking to you. Let them know that you're invested in the conversation and what they're telling you. And especially, it doesn't even have to be like a deep conversation or anything like that. They could just be saying, hey, how are you? Or they can just be telling you about their day. And you need to give them at that moment your undivided attention no matter what. Listen, listen, listen.
All right, guys, so the next thing on our list of having a sustaining relationship is being a servant to your significant other. It's very easy to get caught up in your own life and your own thing you got going on between work, technology. It's hard to put your significant other first. Me and Erica live by this. We always put each other first, and that's something that we're always trying to do. It's made a world of difference in our relationship, even from the way beginning, between Erica supporting me in my career, I support her in her career, or her being a mom, me being a dad. We always want to know what's going on with each other, to make sure that we have what we need, we're cared for. Do you have anything else you want to say about that?
Yes, so really quick, I won't spend too much time on this, but we are called, especially us Christians, we are called to be servants to our significant other. And a marriage is not about what can that person do for me. A marriage is about how can I serve that other person. And when you have that mindset in your relationship, is how I can serve my significant other today, it will make a world of a difference. It's going to change things so much, because you're not always going to be so selfish and worry about yourself all the time. You're not going to be like, well, what can you do for me? You didn't do this for me. You didn't do that for me. And then guess what? There's no room for them to let you down in that way. You need to serve them. And when two people have that same mindset and you guys are serving each other, oh my gosh, the things that will happen. Oh yeah, the things that will happen in your relationship, I can't even tell you. It is so incredible. So I think that's a pretty big one on our list too. And Brandon had touched base on this, but this leads us to our next point, which is super, super important. Make sure that when you're in a relationship, you drop your pride.
And humble yourself.
How about come close? You need to drop your pride and humble yourself. Man, if you can do this, this is the hardest thing possible, because there's so much pride. We wake up prideful. I mean, and if you're watching this video and you say, I don't have pride, I'm humble.
You probably have pride, just a little bit of pride.
You're probably not humble, and you're probably very prideful. So this is something that we struggle with, that I know so many people struggle with. You need, like, when you're in a relationship, things can become, it's so easy to become prideful. It's so easy to say, well, you didn't do this for me and I need to do that, or, you know, what I have going on is better than what you have going on, or it's more important, or, you know, or even like, okay, this is a very small example, but this is an example of pride. You know, Brandon makes coffee for me every day usually. He usually makes coffee before he goes to work, and when he heads out, he always makes enough for me to have mine in the morning too. And on the days that he forgets to make my coffee, I'm always like, instead of saying, oh man, he probably was just running out of the house, he probably was running late, it's no biggie, I can easily make another cup of coffee, I'm always like, that little bit of pride in me is like, who does he think he is leaving this house without making my cup of coffee? And that is just an example of ways in which we're prideful. And like I said, that's such a small thing in comparison to the big things that we go through in relationships. Trust me guys, I get it. But, you know, we just need to drop our pride, and it's so hard to do. I mean, it's so hard. Every day is a struggle. All
right, so the next one is very important. It's very easy to fall in love, but it's a lot harder to stay in love.
When you get married, or, you know, just in general, if you're in a relationship, everyone talks about, oh, I'm in love, I'm on cloud 9.
The honeymoon phase.
The honeymoon phase. But nobody talks about how hard it is to stay in love, and how it's actually 90% of your marriage is going to be you having to put in work in order to have a successful marriage, in order to have a successful relationship. And that's the part that people don't talk about.
Always try and continue to date your significant other, even in marriage. And that means flirting with them, planning date nights. Me and Erica for a while, until little Tana Banana came through, we were going on a date night every week, set for years. Oh, and COVID.
Yeah.
But then we did date nights in the house. But yeah. Date nights don't have to be anything crazy, but you want to have a consistent date night, because that's your night with your significant. Nothing can interrupt it. We would leave our phones in the car, and we would just go out and have a date night once a week. And for years we did that until Lotana Banana came, but then we just did date nights after she went to bed or stuff like that. But
like right now is a date night.
Yes, this is our time of freedom. Compliment your significant other, show them that love that they deserve. Seek out your significant other and pursue them. Don't ever stop pursuing or dating them.
That's cute.
All right, next one, honey.
Another kiss. So the next point on our list is understanding and be willing to talk about each other's future and your goals. And make sure that you do something that me and Brandon like to do, is called checking in. So, you know, every couple of months or every couple of weeks, we do this. You know, it's so easy to go through the routine of the day, and it's so easy to get caught up in, you know, just your day-to-day life. And so it's very important that, you know, every couple of weeks or every, you know, month or whatever it is, you say, what's going on in the relationship? Are we both on the same page? Do we have the same expectation for where this relationship is going? And that's so important, because sometimes, like I said, especially now that we have a daughter, it's so easy for us to get caught up in doing things for the baby, and you know, the focus is on her and not so much on our relationship and our marriage. So we need to make sure that even more so now, because we have a baby, we need to make sure that we're checking in with each other. And so we highly recommend that you guys do that. And in addition to just checking in with each other and making sure that you're on the same page within your relationship, you need to make sure that you guys are on the same page with your goals and your aspirations and where your future is headed. Even if you're in a short-term relationship, a long-term relationship, a marriage, whatever, you always need to be checking in with each other in that regard. Because if you don't, one person's going to be going that way and the other person is going to be going this way. And I think like this is probably really big in our relationship, because Brandon and I
we're very goal-driven.
Yeah, we're very goal-driven people. And also Brandon and I have been together for 7 years, and I think we touched base on this earlier, I can't remember, but I've known Brandon since I was 16 years old. And you know, now that we're in our mid-20s, we have realized that we could have grown apart so many times. But because we were able to get counsel from our pastor, and because we were able to get counsel from other, older couples who have a very successful relationship, they told us early on to always make sure that you check in with each other and always make sure that you guys are growing together instead of growing apart. And I think that really contributes to, a lot of people say like, oh, we just grew apart. Well, did you do the checking in, and did you do all those other steps that we talked? Yeah, did you put the work in? Because that leads to our next point. Things are gonna get tough. Yeah. Things are gonna get very, very hard. And
we never have had our fair share of rough roads, all the way from dating, in marriage,
having a baby.
But there's just, in our relationship alone though, there's been we've had complication. We've had to seek out back to our marriage counselors just for questions, and there's things that we've had to do. But again, we wanted to put in the work though. We wanted this relationship to work. We really wanted to keep each other, by each other's side. We're just so important to each other that we wanted to put that work in.
And so I will put that little disclaimer there. Sometimes when you try to make a relationship work and it just doesn't, maybe you have to listen to the Lord a little bit. Maybe you need to speak out some spiritual guidance, and you really need to evaluate, like, is this relationship of God, or is this relationship pleasing to the Lord? And then find your answer that way. Because sometimes, if you're in a relationship, it just may not work out, and that's understandable. But when you're in a marriage and when two people come together, under God, you guys made a promise to each other and to God that you guys were going to stick it out, and that you guys were going to make it work by any means necessary. So it's very important that you guys, like I said, check in with each other, make sure you're on the same page, and understand that it is normal to go through hardship. God did not promise for us to have an easy, perfect life. Actually, in the Bible, in the book of John, God promised that we are going to face hardship and that it's not going to be an easy road by any means necessary. However, we do have him to rely on for his strength. And again, goes back to that triangle. If you guys are both seeking Jesus and you're both seeking a relationship with him, it's only natural that you guys will come together if you keep him at the top of that pyramid, or at the top of that triangle. So guys, closing out this video, the last and final key to having a successful relationship and a sustainable relationship is
spicy
sex. So, actually, I'll let you take the reins on this one.
I mean, gotta get laid, No, but for real though, sex in a relationship is very important. It's a God-given gift for a marriage. I think it's very important to make sure that you're meeting your significant other's desires, and really need to talk about what your expectations are when it comes to sex. How many times? I know that sounds weird, but how many times a week or
a day
or a month or a day, whatever you're feeling. But it has to be out there on the table. Is whatever your expectations are sexually for each of you, and you kind of have to be on the same page with that. And because sex in a relationship is very important, and it does help grow the relationship, and there's a bond that it forms through sex. So sex is good.
It's a good thing.
We love it.
Be mature.
I am mature.
But no, seriously, in all serious, sex is a God-given thing. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. So enjoy it and make sure that, like Brandon said, you are on the same page with your partner when it comes to all things sex. You need to have that conversation right out the gate. It may be weird, hey, who knows? But it's important that you have that conversation because, like we said earlier in the video, communication is key. And when you talk about sex, you're also fulfilling that box of, okay, I'm being an effective communicator. So
Being open, honest.
yes. So we're gonna close out today's video because it actually is not today. It's nighttime for us and we are exhausted. It is now like 12 o'clock in the morning that we're doing this video because that's the only time we can get anything done. Little Munchkin is sleeping right now. Hit that like button, comment down below, and please subscribe to our channel. We love to make more videos like this in the future, and please comment and let us know, was this video helpful for you guys? Again, by no means are me and Brandon experts in this whole marital and relationship thing, but these are things that we found that worked for us over the years. And like I said, we've saw a lot of cancel. We've gone to our pastors and we've really thought about what we wanted to share with you guys. And again, these are all super, super important things that Brandon and I struggle with on a day-to-day. We are not perfect and we're just two imperfect people trying to help you guys out there and trying to share with you guys our story and what works best for us. So we hope that you enjoy and we will see you in our next video.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate all the support. Honey.
Oh God, is she waking up? Uh-oh.
Date nights, easy to fall in love, and this one should be separate, being to stick it out and fight for yours and every other.
Now you have my lipstick on you.
Is this still recording? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have my lipstick on you?
No.
Okay. So, another thing that we think is...
Eat. Let's go.
That's not funny. That's weird.
All right, go. All right, guys. So in today's video, we're gonna be doing. Okay, I already messed up. All right, guys. So in today's video, we're gonna be looking at. What are we doing?
Oh my God, we're gonna be here all night.